Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center somewhere in Africa. Thank you very much. And back in Nairobi, good morning, all of you, the panel of Sharon, Daniel, and Samuel. Good morning.
A very good morning indeed to you, Dr. David Matsanga from the Political Command Center. Good morning to Sharon Gitonga, my colleague panelist, as well as my brother Sean Daniel Wesonga, and all our viewers watching this program in Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world.
Thank you very much. And Sharon?
Very good morning to you, Dr. Matsanga from the Political Command Center, and my colleague panelist Samuel Tawish Wesonga, and to all our viewers who are watching us in Kenya, Africa, and the entire globe. Good morning.
Good morning. I believe I'm not going to address you as being in Nairobi, can I?
No. I'm in Tharaka Nithi County.
Oh, good morning in Tharaka Nithi County in not Meru, Tharaka Nithi.
Yes. Yes. I'm coming live from Tharaka.
Are you in Chuka? Are you in Chuka?
Yes.
Near Chuka University. Good morning, all the students there. Don't do any riots. Thank you very much. And across, Daniel Wesonga, are you in the CBD?
Very, very good morning, Dr. Matsanga David. Of course, today I'm not coming live from the CBD, as they can see. And good morning to my good brother, Tarwish Lesasina, Sharon Gitonga, and our viewers here in Kenya and the rest of the world.
Have you already started your holiday?
Yes, Dr. Matsanga. Yes.
It looks like you're already in a hotel in Kisumu.
Not yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Viewers, this morning we have a special topic and the recording of the parliament. As we speak now, parliament is debating very crucial bills that could allow the country of Kenya to officially accept what we call coalition parties to come together to form a united one party that moves, but without losing their identity. So we shall, in previous occasions, I think this bill will sail through 100%, even if you do what? You come in partnership with somebody, then in the middle of the politics, this somebody runs away from you. It becomes a very terrible situation. So thank you very much. We are also joined by our political man now. We call him the full political gear guy. Now, you know, my son, thank you very much, Douglas Kirimi, for joining us this morning. And I don't know whether you can test the microphone now. You hear me, Douglas?
Yes, a very good morning to you, Dr. David Matsanga, to my friend Oresisana Tawish, and also to Sharon Gitonga, and also to my friend Sean Wesonga, and to the crew at the headquarters in Nairobi. Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. It's been a minute, and thank you for having me on the show.
I am very happy. You are being missed by so many people. So many people were asking me, where is that man? And actually, in one of the promos, you are in the promos that are coming. You are number one on top on the promos. When you are hitting the point on Ruto and handouts, that promo is very good. I think Stephen, now Fred, you are in a full technical team. You have that promo. We shall try it in the middle and let him see himself speaking. And Tawish, you made very cardinal points and the serious points. And Sharon, that promo is going around the world right now. So people were missing you. Thank you very much. We thank you very much. You tried, you did your best. Whatever the outcome was, you are back in our community, in our small community. This is, punchline is our small community. I'm happy you have not deserted me like some other people have deserted me. But they don't know that I'm the kingpin of the politics. Again, ahead there, they will meet me. Isn't it, Tawish? They have now, people have run away, but they don't know they will meet me in the end. So thank you very much for coming back. For again, after your elections, we congratulate you for the number of votes you got. As you know, I'm a Jubilee Party member, and you saw my comments on your wall. I was not very impressed with Jubilee Party for having selected somebody who was going to fail. Had they given you the ticket, that's what annoyed me completely, and I kept off. I didn't want them to accuse me. I have also, as a friend of Jubilee, I'm sponsoring people. You know, there are so many people here, when they want to eat something from the big people, they tell you a lie about you. So I kept off, but you did a great job. Your people in the village, at least in the world, know that you exist. This other guy might not also speak English like this other one from Kiamba, whom you have seen, is not even able to speak any word of English. I don't know why they took him there. I had Jesus Christ on the nose. Thank you very much. Let's kick the topics. Welcome back home, Kirimi.
And also, Doctor.
Yes.
There is also something that we need to write about what UD has been doing with these by-elections, and it's something that has been narrated across Mount Kenya region, where you pick people who have not even gone to school, people who cannot express themselves. A county assemblies or national assembly or senate is not just houses or cafes where you can go and sip coffee. These are where registration happens. These are houses of parliament or county assemblies where representation of the people happens. And remember, even our own MCA that is reading on UDA, Senator Mithika Linturi, has already shot a warning to him. They have told him that he's not gonna pick their ticket again, and the man himself cannot even express himself in English. And these are the problems that we are battling with, where UDAs can be able to buy votes. They were buying votes at 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings to just get their person in. A person that cannot even greet the deputy president himself, the leader of UDA, in English, Dr. David Matsanga. And these are problems that we are going to be countering in the next general election in about 6 or 7 months to go. And I hope our people are going to run lessons. Our people are going to run that these elections matter to them as a people, not to parties, not to people like William Ruto that would want to have punching bags who cannot be able to express themselves, punching bags that cannot be able to do anything for the people and for the public good. Thank you.
Matsanga, take over.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga David. Yes, and of course, much has been happening in our political sphere. And perhaps it is high time that as the Kenyan people, we came to the realization that these kind of politics that are happening at the moment, if they go on unchecked, if people do not put aside the emotions that are running at the moment, then we might have a country to lose in the next year's general elections. And therefore, there's need for the temperatures to be turned down. We saw the other day a police station being launched in a political way. And we saw the Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, George Natembea, saying that when we start politicizing our security, then there's a big problem coming ahead of us. We do not need to have police stations being politicized. We've seen the likes of Dennis Itumbi talking about police officers being given little salary. Now that begs you to wonder, is it just yesterday that Itumbi realized that the police officers are being given a small salary? And that is a bit inflammatory, and it could actually bring out radicalization within our police forces, and which is something which is very dangerous heading to the general election. The general feeling also about the politics. We've seen the deputy president has been polarizing the country since 2016. He has been campaigning, he has been talking all kinds of derogatory and insightful words against his boss and against anyone who seems to stand against his 2022 presidential bid. And that is all not something quite well for the country at this particular moment. So therefore, Dr. Matsanga, even as we look towards the elections, as we look even towards the laws that are going to be passed today, then we must realize that this country is precariously wobbling towards a very, very dangerous path. And to me, I think maybe just to weigh on the issues that are being discussed in Parliament today, that is a great amendment I think, because we need to be putting on paper our MOUs when we form a coalition, in that if those MOUs are not respected, then the other party can be held accountable. Because today we have the former NASA coalition in tatters simply because the MOUs were not put on solid paper. We could not maybe blame the players in the coalition, but we could blame the loose structure that was there during the formation of those coalitions, and that is why perhaps coalitions do not stay put in this country as much. So to me, I believe the MPs will be able to do a great job if they will pass that particular legislation. I've heard Tangatanga MP saying that they are actually going to shoot it down. We've seen Duale saying that if that law is passed by Parliament, he'll be headed to court, and all those kind of manner of things. Of course, in the recent past, we've been seeing them using the courts as their only tool to be able to derail some laws and also projects that are being done with the government. But at the end of the day, they have to realize that these laws are quite actually good for the posterity of this country, because if the laws protect the coalition, the more smaller coalition partners to get their share of the bargain against the bigger partners of these kind of thuggery that has been going on through coalition formations, then it's quite a good law to be passed. But you see the kind of things Duale was saying yesterday, it really paints a gleam picture of our democratic progress into the coming days. And what happens if William Ruto is elected as a president? We might not even be able to achieve even just an inch of whatever is being done today. So therefore, I think Kenyans should be concerned about their country. They should be concerned about people moving around, popularizing their agenda, calling it bottom up, and calling their supporters hustlers and all that. Yesterday, I saw a clip circulating around where a newly elected Kiamba MP could not construct a simple sentence in English. And this is a man who was elected in what they said they wanted to punish President Uhuru Kenyatta and Jubilee Party. And now you can see the kind of people that they end up with in Parliament. Someone who cannot even formulate a legislation in Parliament. And that is the core mandate of an MP. An MP is not elected to lay cabros, to pave roads, and to pay bursaries. These are lawmakers. They're elected to make laws that will be able to propagate the country forward and be able to strengthen the structures by which the national government will ride on to be able to disperse money and be able to support the growth and the development of the constituency. So therefore, Dr. Matsanga, I think as Kenyans, we should wake up. We should do better by electing people who are capable and people who can be able to propagate their agenda without being inhibited by such factors like we saw in that Kiamba MP. I submit.
Thank you very much. as we move towards Tawish, do you have any contribution you can make on this one?
Indeed, Dr. Hari, I cannot fail to have contribution on that because this is a very hot topic indeed as we speak this morning, because again, Parliament has been recalled out of recess to be able to deliberate on this particular legislation. And I think this is a legislation that is done for posterity and is not for political expediency. Some people are trying to paint it just because they are making an attempt to want to defeat this very, very critical and important aspect of legislation. Of course, my brother Sean Daniel Wesonga has given us instances, of course, in the past. For example, how the NASA coalition was formed and the scoreboards that followed it after the previous elections. The same thing, of course, was witnessed with you saw what happened with the Jubilee coalition that was formed in the run-up to 2013 general election, and so many of the coalitions, just because we had very loose structures that are not do not have any proper, you will say, they are not anchored on any proper, say, foundation, has made it difficult really for these coalitions even to survive. And most of these individual political parties have really taken that advantage to the detriment of the coalitions and to the prosperity of this nation, in as far as the role that are being played by our political parties, and to that effect, of course, the coalitions that are formed. So I largely agree that these particular legislation that is being undertaken in the floor of the House today is one which is long overdue, something that each and everyone who really wishes well for this country, in as far as how we are going to carry out our politics and formation of coalitions moving forward, really should support. I think for Deputy President William Ruto is a man who is just trying but to see how he can, of course, flex his muscles with, of course, Jubilee and, of course, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. But it is not more of that this legislation is in bad faith. I think there were attempts previously when he thought maybe he had numbers, like he's been boasting publicly that he has about over 160 members of parliament. If that is the case, I want to see how this is going to be reflected on the floor of the House today. Because again, previously I even saw during, of course, the impeachment of former Kiambu governor, that is Waititu Ferdinand. And the Deputy President William Ruto was everywhere really boasting that he has numbers and he was going to defeat any attempt really to impeach, of course, Ferdinand Waititu. But it did come to pass that he didn't have the numbers and Waititu was impeached. The same thing happened with the Mike Mbuvi Sonko, the former governor for Nairobi County, where the Deputy President William Ruto was actually boasting of a large majority of course, members from the Senate, and he was defeated. We also saw the same, of course, with the, of course, attempted impeachment of Waiguru, the current governor of Kirinyaga. And I think those are just but some of the examples we are giving just to demonstrate to William Ruto that he doesn't have to go far really to accept that he does not have the numbers, he does not have the support, and any little support that he's having, or any little number, any small number he has, is those people who are just hanging around him so that they can be able to get some money for lunch. And that is how we view it. Because by the end of the day, people who are of reason, people who know what is good for this country, are going to side and support this particular legislation that has been brought to the floor of the House, so that as a country and as a people, we can move forward together without this small political, of course, infights. Just because people have differences within coalitions, they end up sabotaging the entire and the biggest dream and agenda of a nation because of their, of course, individual ambition. So I really hope that this legislation is going to sail through in the floor of the House, and so that we move together. The Azimio la Umoja bandwagon can move together, can move forward then without any sort of impediments. But even as we talk about this, we must be very, very careful that it looks like Deputy President William Ruto and allies have gotten footing at the courts, and that's why they seem buoyed. They seem very confident that these particular legislations are going to be defeated. You saw how they spoke about BBI, how they were very optimistic that BBI was going to fail, that they were going to stop the reggae, and it did come to pass. We went to the High Court. to the Court of Appeal, and the BBI was actually halted. I await to see how is it going to be deliberated at the Supreme Court. Yesterday, I was listening to, of course, a section of lawyers allied to UDA, or Deputy President William Ruto, led by Nelson Harvey, the chairperson of Law Society of Kenya, coming out and saying they are going to use all means to make sure that this legislation does not come to fruition. Only a lot of time that probably they have other weaponry away from legislation, away from arguing their matter on the floor of the House. Probably they know the leeways that they are going to use. Maybe the courts, I don't know. But we are likely going to see the same, because on the floor of the House, I'm very optimistic, I'm very confident that this legislation is going to see light of day. I submit. I assume Dr. Matsanga is on a call. Maybe we can have Sharon Gitonga make her commentary on this as Dr. Matsanga winds up on that engagement. Sharon Gitonga, if you can hear me, I don't know particularly what is your view about this particular legislation today that has been brought to the floor of the House. In your own estimation, do you think it's going to sail through? And what could be the hurdles or impediments to this legislation in your own, of course, when you foresee, because we've seen people allied to UDA coming out and saying they are going to use all necessary means to defeat this legislation. If it's going to sail through in the floor of the House, then they are going to marshal, of course, their troops to go to courts and oppose this legislation. What is your view, Sharon?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tawish, for your sentiment, and of course, my colleagues that have spoken before me. And probably, if I could backtrace what Douglas was talking about, last week's by-election, there were actually two. One that was in Maho, that is in Taita Taveta County, and in Kiagu, of course. And I think two things that were quite evident is the issue of bribery, and whereby voters are actually being bribed to for them to actually support a certain party. And I think that is something that different agencies led by IEBC should actually keep an eye into, because aside the politics of handouts, now we have the issue of the aspect of the issue of the bribery, and that is something that really needs to be called out before we even head out to the general election. And then coming to your question about the current legislation that is ahead of the parliament today, I think that is the way to go, because we have said here before that our Kenyan parties have no systems or governance. That is why each and every electioneering period we have new ruling parties, and when you look at the broader side of it, it actually demoralizes the youth to even contest, and who actually want to grow. And you've seen from historic part of it, from NAC Kenya and NAC, and now we have UDA, and apparently the deputy president even championing a new party that a new party and even popularizing it, without even officially leaving Jubilee. So I think in terms of loyalty and accountability, that is going to really strengthen our political parties. And I think even for the UDA cronies, they need to really be, if you look at it, it actually also works in their favor, because you have seen we've had so many defections even from their own party. And, even the likes of Joash, the deputy governor of Kisii, who is actually a very close ally to the deputy president. So I think if they actually look at the positive side of it, it actually meant to, strengthen and even, give loyalty to different political parties. So from where I sit, I think it's actually going to see the light of the day. It's an issue of a wait and see. But I think from where I sit, I think this is actually going to, see a light of the day, so that we can have, loyalty and accountability in our political parties, even as we head towards the general election come 2022. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sharon Gitonga. And I think this particular moment, I should allow, of course, Douglas Bunde Kirimi to make his commentary on this. Douglas Kirimi, if you can hear me, You understand that today Parliament has really been recalled to do legislation on this particular contentious bill, if I must say it that way, because again, it is widely been protested by the United Democratic Alliance, allied lawmakers and politicians, particularly even the lawyers drawn from that particular side of the political divide, saying this is this intends to claw back on the gains that have been made so far on the freedom of individual political parties, especially when it comes to coalition building. I don't know what is your take about that position, but that has been taken by UDA. And what are the prospects today as Parliament sits really to deliberate on this legislation? Do you see it sailing through? What is your perspective, Douglas?
Thank you. Thank you, my friend, Olisisana Trawish. What we need to understand about this country is that there are people who are hell-bent on making sure that political parties or political coalitions in this country do not work. Political parties do not have the capacity to, number one, work together and make sure that those coalitions succeed, or those coalitions memorandums are honored. And people who are in UDA today are mostly members of the Jubilee Coalition or Jubilee Party who are propagating the ideas of another party. And these are people that this law is going to be able to cut their political deals and maybe add them a raw deal, which they wouldn't want to accept. We need to be able to strengthen political parties, coalition building, and we need to be able to become loyal to the parties that we are in or the political coalitions that we are in. Because if a political party does not honor the people, if a political party member does not honor their coalition or does not honor their political party, it begets a situation where we are going to have a country that is today being permitted or being spearheaded by William Ruto and the cronies, like Sharon Gitonga has said, because these are the same people who have not even resided from Jubilee Party of Kenya, who are propagating ideas of another party, and they are also seeking other coalitions, whereas their party ticket that was handed over by Jubilee Coalition of the Republic of Kenya has not been able to be exhausted. We need to be able to deal with this issue decisively in Parliament today, and we agree or disagree with the majority of UDA people. It is their democratic right to be able to air their views or whatever alternatives they have to this law. But what is supposed to be happening, or what I see as a prospect in Parliament today, this law is going to sail through, because as we have said before, when it matters a lot, when it matters, when people can be able to bring forth or bring to the fore issues or articulation of issues in Parliament, UDA acts in those numbers, or as Isana wish. And also in Parliament, when we need to pass critical legislation, these people we meet at press conferences or maybe churches, pulpits, and every other place that are right to UDA, they lack in numbers in Parliament. What if President Kenyatta's retinents and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga retinents and others decide to pass this law to strengthen political coalitions or political parties? What will happen to UDA people is that they are going to toe the line and maybe run to the courts. And I believe, as it stands today, when these people saw that saw to themselves and also saw to the people of Kenya that they are going to use every avenue to defeat this law, they are going to have an upper hand in our courts. Judicial activism has taken the center stage when even important legislations that are set to take this country forward, or maybe strengthen our political parties, strengthen democracy, and maybe strengthen our own existence as members of political parties or political coalitions. And when these people go to courts, or Sisana Tawish, we are going to have problems, because these courts have been able to add the people of Kenya, or a majority of patriotic Kenyans, a raw deal when it comes to issues that matter to them, and when it comes to the public good of this nation and to the welfare of this nation. I believe that Parliament is going to do the right thing today, that this registration is going to sail through those people that are opposed to this road today, these are the same people who are going to betray their coalition partners or betray their political parties the same way William Ruto has been able to betray the Jubilee Party of Kenya, which is headed by their party leader, Dr. Uhuru Kenyatta. And people like William Ruto, who have always spearheaded betrayal in the political setting of our time. Your time is coming, and that time is today in Parliament. I hope our Parliament is going to do the right thing, even as I anticipate a battle in courts where the courts are going to add us are all deal as patriotic people, peoples of this republic. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Tawish, just a minute. Sorry, I think Douglas has talked about the importance of coalition building, and I was just trying to see, of course, the essence of, coalitions, because we always say that no one who has actually succeeded alone. For me, I believe anyone does not accept coalition is a dictator. And I don't think the leadership of this country can actually be, handed over to a dictatorship, given that we are actually a democratic country. The former Prime Minister has been at the forefront, trying to craft up different coalitions. So the other day, the launch of the Democratic Action Party, where three different political parties actually, have teamed up and, because they are of the same mind, they decided, they can actually, work under, the former Prime Minister. So, and I hope Kenyans can really shy away from this kind of politics of euphoria and, demagoguery, where people are just inciting, and end up, voting by emotion, so that can have, leaders who are about, creation and not value destruction. So I like, he has also said it's actually going to be a battlefield, because I think we have 160 MPs that are in UDA. So let's wait and see how this actually turns out. But from where I see, I strongly think this is actually to see the end of the day. Thank you.
As for the numbers, I think these are just but imaginary, because the same must be reflected on the. Yes, Dr. Ari.
Let me come in here.
Dr. Ari, but as you come in, Dr. Ari, I will want you to respond to this. What do you suppose is informing this, of course, skepticism and those leaders allied to UDA really developing the goosebumps? And as far as this particular legislation is concerned, why are they not really comfortable with this legislation, Dr. Matsanga?
Because they are defeated. They are going to be defeated. Once a coalition, Ruto says he doesn't want anybody to do a pre-election coalition. So if there's a party now, either Oka or Raila's movement can couple agreement with these new parties, he has no vote in the country. You get my point? He's gone. He loses before they start electing. So that's why most of them who are making noise through their so-called lawyers, because we got wind of it. We know what they want. They have said from January they are going to be attacking. Those lawyers are going to attack people. They are going to defend UDA. They're going to defend Ruto. How do you defend Ruto when nobody is even talking about it? We talk about what are practicals. How do you defend him from molesting witnesses of ICC who are now being molested? Haven't you seen a picture of witnesses of ICC crying tears? Have you seen that, Wesonga? Haven't you seen that with Tawish?
Yes, Matsanga.
There's a son of a witness whom they are molesting. So
yes.
how are you going?
Actually, the son was abducted, I think some few days ago, and released. Now he's claiming his life is in danger.
So you see, yeah, this you asked a question. Why are they jittery? They are jittery because they are going to lose. There's nothing. The law, you make a grand NASA. Then when the political party act, comes, it says the party that has more seats in parliament. But you have also campaigned for this party. So when they are dishing out money, you lose, Kawish. But you wore the t-shirt of this new NASA hour. That's why you saw NASA hour principals are annoyed with Raila. Because they never got the money. But they also took part in the exercise. They campaigned all over the whole country together with Raila. They played a part. But when the money came, the bigger parties with bigger MP, a number of MPs, got take over from there, got the money.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. for that. And I think this is the same thing and question I would really want to get your perspective, colleague panelist, on this question about why the UDA allied, of course, politicians are not very comfortable with the passage of this legislation. Is it because they fear they are going to be defeated come next year's general election, or is it going to add more impetus on the prospects of the Azimio la Umoja? Probably I should start this with Daniel Sean Wesonga before I get into other panelists. Wesonga, what do you suppose informs this level of uncomfortability when it comes to the likelihood of the passage of this legislation on the floor of the House? Sean Wesonga.
Yes, of course, Sharon Gitonga has talked about something very important, that whoever does not maybe embrace coalitions is someone who does not believe in democracy, and that is a dictator. And that is the William Ruto that we know. William Ruto does not believe, even in his own backyard of Rift Valley, does not believe someone holding a contrary opinion to whatever his party UDA holds, or maybe even running against his party. You've had people who do not support William Ruto being threatened by the likes of Oscar Sudi Cherargei, Nandi Governor Sang, and Kericho Senator Cheriot, saying that they are being profiled, and soon they'll know what they mean. So you see, these are people who believe in having absolute power, and absolute power means that if this leader says that you jump, you jump. If they say you sit down, you sit down without questioning. But you realize that if you have to get into a coalition with someone with his own party and members of parliament or senators or MPs or governors, it means that whenever the coalition will not be quite tenable for them, then they can actually be able to go to court and be able to seek redress against this, or even walk out of that particular coalition if it is not working, provided they follow the guidelines that have been put there by the law. But if you are under the mercy of a certain party leader because you folded your party and there's nothing you can do about it, then you actually you cannot do anything despite maybe any shortcomings that you'll be meeting along your way. And that is what William Ruto wants. He wants an absolute power to his party UDA, in that if he becomes president, he will have no one to question him because he's a supreme leader, the likes of Ayatollah. He do not want anyone to maybe to have any other person who poses as a center of power in his own party. And that is why even in UDA, you will tell me if you had anyone calling themselves a deputy party leader. Nowhere. You can never hear about that in UDA. And that is what William Ruto wants. And in as much as himself he has been pulling a separate center of power to President Uhuru Kenyatta, this is the last man who would want to have someone to repel his power, to parallel his power rather. So to me, I think it's all about totalitarianism. And you see this kind of politics is what actually is anchored on the bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach is a very ancient idea of the Leninist Marxism school of thought, of where they are aiming more about raising the lumpen proletariat to a certain level in a society. But however, unlike maybe Lenin and Karl Marx, who had clear intention about helping the downtrodden, this other one is just a smoke screen, something that does not have substance and which is being used as a political tool just to get some numbers. And soon after the elections are over, I know it will all fizzle out and we shall go back to the trickle-down economic model, of which I know William Ruto is the strongest believer in it. But because of expediency, they have to preach about the bottom-up economic model, of which also is a characteristic of an ideal dictatorial regime of communism. So to me, I think it's all about dictatorship, nothing more, Tarish. If you see them opposing these particular amendments, is because they want to have an absolute power and nothing more or less.
Thank you so much. Dr. Matsanga, being an authority in this, perhaps I should get your perspective on this particular matter, because people out here seem like they cannot quite understand what is all this about the legislation that has made, of course, Parliament to be recalled. What is it that the people of Kenya really stand to gain out of this intended change in the, of course, in the political, in this, of course, legislation? And coupled with that, Dr. Matsanga, I mean, are we going to make it stronger in terms of the democratic space, or is it going to claw back on the gains that the people of Kenya have made so far in terms of the freedom and the democratic space in deciding which kind of coalition, which kind of political parties, be it going independent? What is your perspective about this, Dr. Matsanga? What is it exactly that people of Kenya stand to gain if this legislation is going to sail through in this particular, of course, session of Parliament? Dr. over to you. If you're ready, Dr. Yes, Dr. Dr. Matsanga, can you hear me?
Maybe we can have Douglas Kirimi chip in at the moment as we wait for Doc to come on. But
Absolutely. Douglas Kirimi, I hope you've heard the question I was just posing to Dr. Matsanga, because the whole legislation initiative that is being undertaken today and tomorrow on the floor of the House has widely been politicized, and the people allied to UDA have castigated that particular, of course, initiative to have that legislation. What do you suppose really is the gain that Kenyans are going to make in as far as our democratic space is concerned? Are we going to make it stronger? Are we going to open up in as far as the democratic space is concerned, or is it clawing back on the gains that you have made so far? Douglas Kirimi.
Thank you, Orisisana Tarwish. One advantage that the people of Kenya are going to gain from this kind of a registration is that we are going to do away with the politics of betrayal, politics of conmanship, politics of double dealing, politics of doublespeak, and politics of doublespeak as exposed by Dr. William Ruto, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and his own brigade. Imagine, the law is very clear. This is a man that was supposed to have resigned from Jubilee Party of Kenya or from the Deputy President position since the March of 2018, when it was apparent that Dr. William Ruto has started forming political parties, funding political parties in 2019, when it came to the fore that Dr. William Ruto is already funding UDA and is in talks with other small parties so they can be able to fold up and join his own perceived national party, where he is also a member of the Jubilee Party of Kenya. And these are the same people who have been entertaining people like Joash Maangi, the deputy governor of Kisii, a member of ODM, and a subsequent member of the NASA coalition that was dissolved the other day. It begets us to a position or to a situation where we are going to be strengthening our democracy. When you make your own political coalition, or you make your own standing on of a political party, you're going to stick to that political party, also to propagate the ideas and the activities of that political coalition or that political party. It is going to make sure that no one in this country or no one in political parties, or when people are making their own subsequent political coalitions with different political parties, that no one is going to run out of the show. They are going to carry on their show and make sure that they are going to deliver on the very tenets that they conduct themselves within that political coalition or that political party. What Sharon Getonga and Sean Wesonga have spoken about, politics of dictatorship as exposed by Dr. William Ruto, is going to become a thing of the past.
That's why they are saying when they lose in parliament, they are going to courts. And remember, this brings us to two scenarios. One, they are exposing a scenario, or they are just bringing out a scenario where their numbers do not count in parliament. They are bringing out a situation where their numbers do not have a voice in parliament, or they are not articulate enough, right? We have seen in Kawanjiko, who we have been taught that intelligence, being fluent or being good in the English language is not a sign of intelligence or not a sign of leadership. They are not going to be able to defend their points very correctly in the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya, because people like Oscar Sudi and others are not going to be available for that kind of debate today and tomorrow. What we are having today is a coalition of leaders who have shown their alliance to the United Democratic Alliance, and also leaders that cannot be able to articulate and be able to defend the very same coalition or the very same party that is opposing the same law that is going to be debated today, the motion that is going to be debated today and tomorrow in parliament. And also, they are giving us a scenario where they are going to be fighting to death in courts to be able to defeat this kind of legislation that is going to strengthen our democracy, that is going to strengthen royalty in coalition building, royalty in our political parties, and royalty in our system. These are kind of laws in this country that are going to make sure that the people of Kenya, as we know them, politicians in this country, leaders in this country, opinion shapers in this country, have some ideas and stick and propagate the same and continue passing on those ideas and propagation of the same ideas that they have stood that have stood the test of time, or have stood the test of their own coalition or their own political party. William Ruto is a conman of the moment, is a conman of time, is an emotional conman, and an hybrid political conman who thrives in fake promises and promises that are built on sad, that he cannot be able to keep them. And that way he's sending Eden Duari, the member of Garissa Township constituency, to make sure that this registration is defeated. This is the same man that is asking Nelson Avi, the president of the Royal Society of Kenya, this registration, if it finds its footing in the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya, should be defeated when it gets to the judiciary, because these are people who are in courts with themselves and their evil plans, and also their betrayal tenets that have been able to be ingrained in their political DNA to be able to sabotage the democratic processes, and also to stand on the way of the will of different political parties that would like to come together and hold the same coalitions in this country and make sure that these coalitions succeed amidst deceit and amidst conmanship and amidst hybrid political indoctrination as exposed by Dr. William Ruto, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, a man that continues propagating the ideas of the UDA party, a man that continues misusing public resources, a man that continues propagating the ideas of different political parties, whereas he's a member of Jubilee Party and he should have resigned very long time ago and gone to continue campaigning to become President of the Republic of Kenya without being in government, that he continues betraying every day, being in a party that he continues betraying every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Douglas. I don't know if Dr. Matsanga is ready so that he can take it up from there. Dr. Matsanga, if you can hear me.
You see, I'm ready, yes.
Yes, Dr. Matsanga, I was asking whether you can tell Kenyans, because from your own perspective, what is it that you suppose Kenyans really stand to gain if this legislation is going to sail through in the floor of the House, because it's, of course, debated today and tomorrow. So many people don't seem really to understand, and politics appear to have taken center stage, especially with the UDA allied politicians coming out to castigate this initiative, saying it's going to claw back on democratic space. What is it that Kenyans really stand to gain in this particular legislation that has been famed as controversial, Dr. Matsanga?
First of all, Tawish, we left this thing too late. That Ruto, and I was warning my friends long time ago that Ruto is capturing the state through the judiciary. There is no case you can take to that judiciary when it is against Ruto and you win. It is becoming a normal pattern. But let's leave that aside and start talking on what is the good and the bad of the current proposals. To me, I don't see any danger of parties sitting down. And I've already explained to you that you take my vote, I wear your t-shirt or your shirt, we fly together, you win the seat, and you become the president. And after that, when the money comes, your party is the one we joined. But your party wins more seats than mine. But also I contributed to the election for your victory. Then you say you can't give me the money. That can cause commotion. So what the parties are doing is to straighten that when you go into, it is removing this thing of underhands. When we go into when you go into a proper agreement, you don't turn around later on. When you have one power, you have got seats in parliament, then you say you don't have a share from the money that the political parties will be given for running their activities. Because that is enshrined in the government, because in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, that the money must be there. You must pay political parties to run democracy. It is in the Constitution. The winner, the highest, gets more. And then what about the smallest? But you took part, but you are MP. You don't have an MP. But the MPs now that have gone, they have gone because of that collision, NASA collision. The collision of NASA produced some MPs. Then people reached there. They decided to cut themselves. So if you have an agreement, when you reach the floor up there, you can't hop and cross-check, course, and jump here and jump there. No. It is strengthening that if you disagree with the main party that won the more seats, you still remain with your identity. You are not now brought back to the parliamentary scrutiny, these things. No, you remain with your identity and say, okay, the marriage is not very good, but I have not dissolved my party. We shall live to do another job next time. That is what it is. But on this, we left the train. Tawish, it left a long time. Ruto has grabbed the judiciary. He influences it. I know the people who do the influence. I know them. One of them during the BBI came to me and told me, this is what I wrote for the judges to read. That you are here. Wasn't I telling you the name of that guy? Yes, he's my friend.
But Dr. if that is the case, then how moving into the new year, that is 2022, a year when we are getting into the election, what then do you suppose will be the strategy by, of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga to ensure that the courts are not going to be used to frustrate the agenda of government?
Tawish, which election are you asking me?
Okay, let's assume the question of election, Dr. Matsanga. What is it that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga can do to stop any further frustration of the agenda?
Brother, which election? Which election? Specify which election.
The general election in 2022 August.
Of which country?
Kenya.
Here. Is there an election here? Do I see? From my perspective, I've given you the reasons why I think there is nothing like a preparation for elections in Kenya. It's not there. We're just preparing for a war path. a war path for a fight. You can see the sentiments of Harvey, of the lawyers. You can see the sentiments of Dwali on TV. You can see the talk of Mr. Dr. William Ruto himself talking. The talk alone the talk alone shows to you there is no election. Don't you see that? The man who started shouting when the football match has not even started, and they said they have stolen this football match. They are intimidating me. The deep state. There are two things, the message now of delivering. If you can follow Ruto's rallies or UDA rallies, you will find the delivery, the things they touch are the same. Wheelbarrow, hustler, bottom up, Matsanga, deep state. Have you heard what they talk? So they have left Mr. Rikaja Jijakwa, the MP for Madira, to be the one attacking Matsanga and Kibicho. Of late, he has withdrawn from Kibicho, his own Matsanga, because Matsanga doesn't come from where he comes from. Have you seen that? You see, there is no, what election are you talking about? I told you, if Mr. Chebukati is handling the Kenyan election, Tawish, boss, you have known me for a long time. Give me a break. Is there anything that I said that does not come true? A few weeks, were you not here when I said, I'm talking to the Ethiopia, the Tigray president? Didn't I?
You did actually.
If there's anybody in the world who did not hear this, then he's stupid. You know, you might underrate Matsanga, but I am here. I have my contacts. There are people who value me in this world, in East Africa. I knew the president of Tigray in 1987 when he was in London. And a friend who has known you for all that time, Meskia Tawish, when he comes to tell you, dear, you have gone wrong, I have not told him, give me money. I've told him, here you have gone wrong. You need peace for this country. You need one Ethiopia. Haven't I broken the impasse? They are going to talk. Silent diplomacy pays than this airplane. Unajaa uko na kanzu like Obasanjo with a kanzu and eating and sleeping in a plane. I did not fly to Tigray. I know they talk to me. I don't want to lie to you. They talk to me. There are people I've known for a long time. Remember when Zenawi was in Ethiopia? I'm changing this to tell you, to show you that we in Africa, what brought the mess in Ethiopia? Isn't it elections? What made the Tigray people to go away? Is the way Dr. Abiy handled that election. You remember? He started bringing different things, talking like the way Dr. William Ruto is talking in Kenya. The guys of Tigray said, enough is enough. We have suffered under this. He eliminated them from positions. The war broke out. So when you tell me elections in Kenya, which one? This is just not an election. This is just a village party. You are organizing a village party. An election where you have gone, let me tell you, to print papers from Greece. And nobody in Kenya is stopping the papers being printed from Greece. People have already taken money from the papers, from the ballot paper. Commissions have been paid. You call this an election? and nobody is doing any action. You have become Vatican. So I also joined the Vatican. I'm a Gentile preaching to the Jews. Philippians 1 and 2. You remember the letter to the Philippians by Paul. He said, I'm a Gentile preaching to the Jews. So I might not be there, my fellow Jews. But I might be giving you a hint that what you are preparing right now is not an election. It's a village disco. If 7 months, people are still going to parliament to haggle, to fight in the parliament to pass what should have been passed a long time ago, you call that an election? You call that an election? Satawishi. So kama unazungumza next year 2022 election iko wapi? Mimi bado sikia, usikia wapi wewe? Unaona roadmap iko smooth? Is there a roadmap?
Not smooth indeed.
Yes.
Not smooth indeed. Yeah.
You have a problem. So all this Ruto is shaping for a fight. The only problem is that some people here, my Jews, don't see it. I am a Gentile speaking to the Jews. That Kirimi was aware, didn't know that I have. That's the new slogan. I'm a Gentile speaking to the Jews. Philippians, when Paul was preaching in to the Philippians, that's what I do. I don't want to labor much. Some people yesterday formed an organization called Younger Lawyers. Then if you have already called yourself Younger Lawyer, what about mature lawyers? You see, we are fragmenting a state. Are you people on the panel? Are you seeing the danger? We are fragmenting this Kenya further. A group coming up because they have been promised money. People who beg money every day, everywhere. Give me 10, 20, 30. Then they come up and say they are a group of lawyers, younger lawyers, impressing Ruto. Look at the handouts that Ruto has been pumping around. People are starting to fight over them. In Nyeri, there is a very big fight there. In Machakos, was it Makweni? People were on the streets yesterday. My brothers, watch what I preach here. The mafia state has developed slowly, slowly. You see it, Kirimi, the mafia state is growing. Where a man does not want other political parties to join him. He wants to make decisions alone. So let's go to Moi. That's Moi's style. Although a party with ideology does not stop smaller parties. The Democrats and the Republicans have not stopped other independent or other parties in the US. You are creating what we call a hybrid dictator who is going to take everybody down. You will see. You will see. The lawyers, Happy has just put, he wants to become a member of parliament for West. Is it what is this place? Westlands.
Westlands constituency.
But he has already put there a bill number. M-Pesa bill number for contribution. So you want to become an MP, you want people to pay money in the bill number in order to do. Look at that. We're fragmenting a state. I don't know what type of elections my dear brother Tawish is talking about. But I, David, I don't see elections. These, you can hold them, but I think they're already compromised. That's the thing I can tell you. The courts have been bought, have been taken. Not bought, but they have been captured by some elements who pull strings. You get the point? The courts have been captured. There's nothing that you take there. They went for Mr. Kinoti. One judge went for Kinoti. We had to come in with a political bypass, legal political bypass, and I went to the High Court. We succeeded. Otherwise, one judge was on this younger man from Meru, as if they collided on a woman somewhere near Maua. On your way to Meru. Kinoti has got a wife, a very beautiful wife. Why does Mr. Murima envy him? And he always says, he counsels everything that comes to his court. Does Mr. Murima make judgments outside? Does he live on planet Venice? That a gun of a sniper, guns are not allowed. They are not licensed in Kenya. And doesn't he know? For example, look at the type of life. Because I want next year, January, Tawish, I want this. This is not a news reading. No, I want this television to form a discussion, a reasoning. I want people who will reason. I'm going to bring a team, a good, tough team of lawyers. Better than Ruto's lawyers. You know, they will be here. We want to reason with, we want to talk. We want someone to moderate and ask questions that people learn from us. You know very well that when a police officer confiscates your property, he doesn't take it to his house. But even though now you pinpoint the only one police officer among those whom you want to take to prison. Furthermore, you arrange for the date with the commissioner of prison to be received. Is there something very funny here? The Meru people were going to act. I think they had their voice and they said they were going to be very honest. So we have a problem here. The problem of this country stems from a very bad constitution. A 40-60% constitution African. The 40% is African. It fits an African country. The 60% is British and American. Actually, American. 60% of your constitution is American. Did you know that, Tawish? 40% is for Kenyans, but the 60% of the Kenyan constitution is an American. I've never seen a country which does not give people on money weekly, proposing such things which don't exist. You have a commission, one commission here, doing the thing which, what if you put under one civil service, they could be done and you save the money. Now you assumed that Kenya would be a society where if you lose your job, you are paid for losing the job. Did you know that there's in Britain, if I lose the job, I will be paid unemployment allowance. Because for now, for me, I don't work. I can't go for a job. I'm past the retirement age of United Kingdom. You can only hire me as an expert coming to advise on a contract and a go, but not applying for a job. I passed that level. Friday morning, you go to the post office, cash it, and buy ugali. This is there anybody giving you any Kenyan money on Friday morning because they don't have a food for the whole week? So you made a constitution for who? For Mara the animals. The constitution, maybe you made it for the Mara reserve, where there is no, even the animals have got order there. But this constitution, 60% is America. Look at the selection of your governor, senator, 2 houses. A country in Africa that does not have money has 2 houses to pay. You pay 2 houses. The House of Senate and the Parliament, National Assembly. You are paying them. How much allowances? How much bodyguards? How much, oh my God, PA, secretaries? A country. The constitution, it doesn't fit in an economy which is struggling to remain afloat. I submit.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ari, and of course, the panelists. Maybe as we come to a close this morning on this discussion, Dr. Matsanga, there's just one more point I would want us to look into that has been captured in one of the dailies, the local dailies right here in Kenya, in the Star newspaper, about President Uhuru Kenyatta's new strategy come next year early, really to annihilate, that is how they have put it, Dr. William Ruto's forays or inroads in the Mount Kenya region. And I think I should be starting this with the Douglas Budi Kirini, because one, he comes from the region and more so being a politician. Maybe you can tell us, Douglas, because I mean, when you listen and try to read all that particular article in detail, you get to understand that it's more of this, the CSS, the principal secretaries, the CAS, that is chief administrative secretaries, and people who are in senior government positions really coming from the central Kenya region, going to articulate that which President Uhuru Kenyatta has been able to achieve and deliver for the people of Mount Kenya region. And it has been viewed as an attempt to try and, of course, diffuse what Deputy President William Ruto has been able to achieve in terms of political mileage, I beg your pardon, in Mount Kenya region. What is your take about this? And if that is the case, then to what extent is this going to dent William Ruto's further inroads and political mileage in the larger Mount Kenya region, especially as we head into next year's elections? Douglas Kirimi.
Thank you, Tawish. One of the things that many people in Mount Kenya region have come to realize and also come to also see for themselves is that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya has not been working. The President of the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, has been delivering promises after promises, and also many promises that he made to the electorates in Mount Kenya region. There were people who went to see the president and also spoke to him and also asked him for various development projects to be done in the Mount Kenya region, that Deputy President William Ruto spends every hour, every minute, claiming that he, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, has been delivering. The question on the ground has been this. When the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya says that, for example, he has built the Kenol Marua Junction dual carriage to the people of Mount Kenya, when he says the government or himself has been able to bring that to the fore for the people, where has he been working? Because we see him from one church to another in Mount Kenya region. We see him fly to the coast. We have never seen him on the ground talk to engineers, talk to the transport minister, James Masharia, and every other person that is in, for example, PS Paul Marenga, who is the PS for infrastructure, himself knows that this person, in the name of Deputy President William Ruto, has not been delivering these things to the people of Mount Kenya. But we need to tell the people the truth. The hour of truth has come. We have a very firebrand and also a very articulate cabinet secretary for agriculture, fisheries, and livestock development in this country, in the name of Peter Munya. Peter Munya has been able to bring reforms into the tea sector, bring reforms to the sugarcane sector, and especially to the coffee sector, and some components of the agricultural ministry that touches on the livelihoods of the people of Mount Kenya, who also depend on agriculture for their own survival. He has been able to go out there and dispel claims that the President William Ruto has been spearheading these tea reforms, coffee reforms, and every other reform. The cotton reforms that have really benefited our own backyard in Kiagu Ward, and also various development projects that the President of the Republic of Kenya has been able to do for the people of Mount Kenya and every other part of this country. Taluish, you have asked, how is this going to dispel the notion that Deputy President William Ruto influence is derived from what he has been doing for the people of Mount Kenya, which is a lie. The people have now come to embrace the truth when the president says himself that he has been working very hard to deliver the promises to the people of Kenya after the handshake with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who gave him ample time and also gave him an opportunity to work without hindrances in Mount Kenya region and every other region, and the people can see that. From one Sunday to another, William Ruto has been camping in Mount Kenya region, moving from one place to another. And we, the people of Mount Kenya, can see the President of the Republic of Kenya under the ministers who are under his government and the permanent secretaries, PSs who are under his government, have been able to deliver big projects and also dream projects for the people of Mount Kenya for their own public good and their own welfare as a people and as a community. For the people of Mount Kenya, they have been able to see that the tea reforms that have always been permitted or spearheaded by the cartels at the Kenya Tea Development Authority, KTDA, have been able to see that the President of the Republic of Kenya has spearheaded that and also given directives to the effect on the same. But when we come together with the people of Mount Kenya, have been able to check ourselves and check who can be able to take these ideas and these plans to the next level. This person is none other than Raila Odinga. Before, Tawish, for your information, in about 6 months ago, when you went to Mount Kenya and asked like 10 voters who they are going to vote for president, 7 of them would have mentioned Dr. William Ruto. Now, 7 or 6 people out of 10 are mentioning the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, because this is the man that the president has trusted and also has given the president an ample time to deliver on his various promises to the people of the mountain and also to the people of the Republic of Kenya. We know who is working and who is not working. Dr. William Ruto is an hybrid political conman, a political dictator, a man who is reading UDA where he is claiming that he is working under the Jubilee Party of the Republic of Kenya as a deputy president, to the effect that they are over-delivering promises to the people of Kenya, where he is busy spearheading promises after promises of the UDA next government, whereas he is also coming to the fore and telling the people of Mount Kenya that he is the one that is working and the president is not working to deliver on the same. Thank you, Tawish. And I believe the people of Kenya, Mount Kenya now have come to realize who is working for them and who is not working for them. The President of the Republic of Kenya has been able to underscore the fact that he is the one that is in charge and is working as the President of the Republic of Kenya, elected under a mandate and a social contract with over 8 million votes by the people of Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi. And maybe I should get of course, Sean Daniel Wesonga's sentiment on these. So much propaganda and false narrative has been peddled around, especially by the Tanga allied politicians, to the effect that President Uhuru Kenyatta has not delivered so much for the people of Central Kenya ever since he came into power in 2013. And at a time when he's serving his second term in office, we are the home stretch where we're going to have succession election, of course, in the near future, say probably August next year. How is this new strategy going to turn the tables, say in favor of President Uhuru Kenyatta? Because again, this narrative to some extent has been detrimental to President Uhuru Kenyatta's agenda and the perception that the public, especially drawn from Mount Kenya region, has had over time about his, of course, delivery of promises to the people of Mount Kenya region. Sean Wesonga.
Yes, thank you so much. And of course, my good brother Douglas Krimi Bundi has put it quite clearly, the work that President Uhuru Kenyatta has done in the central region, and not only the Mount Kenya region, but across the country. So whoever says that the president has not done work might at least maybe open their eyes. They are the only strangers in Jerusalem, if I could use that proverbial saying. And of course, the president has done an incredibly good work. Today, if you drive on the streets of Nairobi, you are able to see the Nairobi Expressway almost coming to completion, around 85% complete. Today, when you walk into the slums of Nairobi, you realize that the Nairobi Metropolitan Service has built more than 15 clinics in the slums to be able to aid on healthcare and also just the welfare of the people in those slums. It has been able to dig boreholes in those areas also as well. And Darwish, just travel around the country and you'll appreciate that President Uhuru Kenyatta has done so many roads more than any other sitting president that came before him. So the matter of the president's legacy, I believe we are actually in a competition between those who have the facts and who have the infrastructure to bank on, and those ones who are actually just dwelling in propaganda manufactured by Dennis Itumbi and other Tanga bloggers. So to me, I think whoever claims that the president has not done anything in regards to development and the legacy projects should actually spare himself or herself the embarrassment of just sitting where they are and travel around the country and see the good work that President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has done. And of course, when you go to the president's delivery unit, you can see the good work that is ongoing across the country. When you look at the legacy trend, postings and updates, you can see the good work that the president is doing. And of course, the legacy trend goes further ahead to capture even the non-infrastructural projects such as peace, unity, and the effort that the president has made even beyond the borders of Kenya and Ethiopia and all that. So to me, I think those who are talking about President Uhuru Kenyatta not doing well in the legacy, in his legacy, are the same ones who have been going around as well, using the legacy projects to campaign for their 2022 presidential bids. We've seen the deputy president doing so. So we see some kind of double standards. And that tells you that their criticism of the president's legacy projects is not based on something solid, rather on something to just keep their presidential campaigns afloat. They must get something to actually to lay an excuse against the president and those who support the president. And of course, that has something to do with the 2022 presidential situation of the economy. But you realize that when President Mwai Kibaki took over power, we had just come from a very tiring and very, very destructive 24-year period of KANU regime, which had actually brought the economy close to its knees. And of course, he had to bring it to a level where Kenyans actually appreciated that now the economy was doing well. We had free primary education. For the first time, we saw electricity being connected to homes. We saw even primary schools being built and having free primary school education and improved healthcare. And you have seen whatever President Uhuru Kenyatta has done by extending whatever Mwai Kibaki had done. And of course, also just pushing forward the whatever dream that was there in the Vision 2030. So to me, the president has done quite well, and he needs to be congratulated on that. So for those ones who are always talking about the president not doing quite what they expected of his legacy, should also show us whatever they have done, and they should give credit where it is due. So to me, I think the president has done well in matters legacy, and we should avoid the side noises of those who are using that for their own purposes of political fodder. So I submit, Tarish.
Thank you so much, Sean Wesonga, of course, and Douglas Bundi Kirini. Dr. Matsanga, maybe as we wind up on this program this morning, it's just about 3 minutes or so shy to midday. We're 2 hours into this show, Dr. Matsanga, and looking at what the president has been able to achieve, not only in central Kenya, but look into what, of course, my colleague panelists have been able to highlight, the tea sector, the coffee sector, the milk sector, agriculture in its entirety, and also looking into the infrastructural development, you will quite agree that the president has achieved tremendously in as far as those fronts are concerned. But again, the critics have argued and taken advantage really to peddle rather falsehood, to the effect that the president has not been able to achieve anything, let alone even fulfilling the pledges he made, of course, to the people of Mount Kenya in the run-up to 2013 and consequently 2017 general election. Dr. Matsanga, I don't know, what is your perspective about this? Is it more of a lack of a clear public relation strategy that has seen the critics take advantage of it, really, to peddle this falsehood, and more so create a state of despondency and disaffection against President Uhuru Kenyatta as he finalizes on his second term in office? Dr. Matsanga, over to you as we finalize on this program today. Dr. Matsanga, can you hear me? Or you could still be very busy, Dr. Matsanga. But again, thank you so much, colleague, panelist, Douglas Bundi Kirimi, Sean Wesonga, and earlier on, of course, we had Sharon Gitonga and Dr. David Matsanga from the Political Command Center, and everyone indeed who has made this program a success. It has been my pleasure to co-host this program alongside Dr. David Matsanga himself. My name is Samuel Tawish. Do have a lovely day ahead. Good day. Goodbye.
Great.